Good evening and welcome to Back to Basics. This evening I will be showing you 4 different ways to use the Spotlight on Nature stamp set, just the stamp set tonight, because this is really a Back to Basics class. Sorry I'm a few minutes late. I was attending a streaming wedding. So I rushed back because I knew I needed to be here. So I am Nancy Dodge from YB Stamp, and welcome, welcome. Glad you're here. So here's the stamp set, Spotlight on Nature, found on page 69 in the annual Stampin' Up 2020. I wrote 2024, 2024. That's how quickly I did it. 2024, 2025 annual Stampin' Up catalog. I absolutely love these stamps. They're just very delicate. They just spoke to me. I know everybody has a difference of opinion, but this is the one that I really, really, really liked. So I'm going to pull out my stuff. Whoops, I need another light on. There we go. Now it's not quite as dark. And I'm going to pull out, I have all kinds of markers. Now for those of you that answered me, I asked you what color you wanted the flowers and the butterflies, and I was told pinks and blues. So that's what I've got. So here's the stamp set. And they're the rubber mount. There you go. Whoops, it's upside down. Anyway. And then I have pre-stamped. I'm going to do all 4 of these cards alike, so that's why I posted. I have 4 insides, 4 card bases. I have 4 of the exact same flower stamped, 1 not. I'm only going to use 3 of these, but I stamped 4. And then I have 3 butterflies. I'm going to stamp another one, and some banners for the sentiment. So I'm going to stick the banners aside for now, and I'm going to do one process at a time. So the first one I'm going to show you, I'm going to stick these pieces aside. The first one I'm going to show you uses the Stamp and Write markers. Not to be confused with the Stamp and Blend markers. Both of them have like a marker tip on one side and like a paintbrush on the other side. But one is water-based and one is alcohol-based. The alcohol-based Stamp and Blends are so that you can blend the colors together. So I'm going to first get a block, actually 2 blocks, and I'm going to pull out these 2 stamps, the butterfly and the flowers. And remember how I said I was going to use 3? So this is what I'm doing with the first one. It's a little tricky if you're not familiar with this, but you have to do this with the Stamp and Write, not the Stamp and Blends. So I'm going to stick these aside a little so that I have a little bit more working space here. So the first thing I'm going to do is pull out, I think this is wide enough. Yeah, going to pull out a piece for this one. So I'm going to use blues on this. And what you're going to do is you're going to color directly on the stamp. So the outline of the stamp is a little bit more on the black side. So I'm taking the paintbrush end. I have a basic black of the Stamp and Write marker, and I'm just going to go over the antenna, the body and just a little bit around the edge. So I looked up, I mean, I knew what this butterfly was, but I did not know the name until my friend Kathleen said she wanted to see this particular kind of butterfly. And I looked it up for her so that I could semi get the coloring right with the current colors that Stampin' Up! Had. And I came up with the basic black around the edge. And you're thinking to yourself, wait a second, those are going to dry before you stamp them. But wait. Then I'm going to take the darker blue, which I have is blueberry, and I want to just color a little bit out from the center of the body. Now again, using that brush end, I'm just trying to get the color on there. Move it around if need be. So you could blend the colors a little, but for the most part I'm trying to make it look like a bit of a starburst. And then I'm going to use a little bit of Azure Afternoon and do the next layer. And most of it is this color, this Azure Afternoon color, according to the pictures that I looked up. And Kathleen will have to remind me what the name of this butterfly is again, because I don't remember. Hey Carolyn, you're not getting sound. None at all? Oh, it's better now. Okay. I don't know what I did differently, because it says okay on my end. Then I'm just going to use this balmy blue to get a little bit on the outside. It's got this little variegated look to it. Okay, now I think I have it all covered. See? And what you're going to do is you're going to breathe on it like a huff and then stamp it. So I'm going, it gets it all moist again, and then stamp it. So there's my little blue butterfly. Okay. The next one, well, hold on. I should clean this first. Otherwise, I get it on me. That's not good. This is the Stampin' Scrub along with the Stampin' Mist. I'm just going to spray some on there and then scrub. See all the foam? And dry. All clean. Now I can put this away. Now I'm going to do the flower. We're not doing those in blues, we're doing those in greens and pinks. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to start with my darker color, and I'm going to color stems, because the stems tend to be darker, at least in my opinion. But everyone can do whatever they want because it's their creation. But I'm going to color the stems in this darker color. And it doesn't have to be exact, and I'll tell you why. Because it's only going to stamp. And then I'm just going to bring it up a little bit. Because it's only going to stamp that what part of the image is there. So it doesn't matter if you color in between all the little notches. You just need to color a little bit. I'm going to use two different greens. This is Granny Apple Green. And then I have lemon lime twist. I'm going to fill in the middle just to give it that little different look. See, can you see the bit of the shine where I've colored? So this is just for the leaves and the stems. And then I will take, I have two different pinks. I have bubblegum and melon mango. So I'm going to start with the darker color. I'm going to color the bottom first. This is a little dry. Hope it comes out all right. I guess we'll find out, right? Well, there are only 3 flowers, so it's not too bad. And then I'm going to take the bubble bath, not bubble gum, bubble bath, and color the rest of these flowers. One. I know it's hard to see, but if you tilt it just right in your light, you can see the outline and see that it's colored that. I don't know why there's a little bit of blue on there. Probably from old something I did, right? Okay. And then I'm going to do the exact same thing. Put all these markers aside. I'm going to huff on it and I'm going to stamp it. I know, sounds like I'm a stalker, doesn't it? Push it down. Let the ink absorb into the paper. And voila. Not pretty. Alright, now we're going to quickly clean my stamp. Wash and dry. Alright, the next 3, I'm going to do 3 different things. So the first one I'm going to do is I'm going to use the Stampin' Up markers again. So first I'll start with, we'll do a butterfly first, since that's what we did before. I'm going to start with the blue, the blueberry bushel, and just kind of work out a little. It's a little on the dark side, but it'll look neat when you add the other colors. Now remember, these don't blend like the Stampin' blends. Then the Azure Afternoon. Color it in. I really like this blue. It's one of my favorites. And then I'm going to add some of the balmy blue. And I'm using the paintbrush end, but you can use any end you want. But you can't scribble as well with these. It's more of a filler inner. So there's our first butterfly. See, I got ink on me already. Alright, then we're going to color in these leaves. Now I'm going to use the thin part of this to color the stems in because it's so thin. This is the Granny Apple Green. They're all pretty greens. For different reasons, I think, but pop in the greens. Well, what a beautiful day it turned out to be here. It was pouring rain this morning, and I thought, oh no, I had a friend of mine is in the hospital, so we went with her to watch her daughter's wedding. Now I'm just going to color these in with the lemon lime twist. And it was absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. You couldn't have planned a better. It wasn't windy. It wasn't too hot. It wasn't too cold. It was just perfect. So I'm really happy that we got to do that with her. All right, there are our leaves. And then I'm going off to the, this is dry, so I need to add more. Now, I'm going to quickly show you, but just because you might not know this, how, now you can't do this with the alcohol blend markers, but you can do this with the Stampin' Up markers. Now hold on, I'm going to grab the ink. I have these all by their color family, and I need, oh, this is the wrong family. I need brights. So these are the re-inkers for those of you that aren't familiar. They're just, little bottles of ink. Now I'm going to show you how to add more ink to this. It's a little tricky. My fingers might get goopy, but, whoops, wrong end. You take the paintbrush end. If you have tweezers, use tweezers and pull that piece right out. Careful where you put that piece because it's loaded with ink. And you're just going to put some drops of ink in here. Hopefully I can do this without making a big mess. Can you see me doing it? Hopefully. Trying to do it without making a mess. I think I put 5 drops in. Just gonna try to tap it down some. There we go. Now I'm going to carefully take this piece. I wouldn't use a tissue, but that's what I had. Make sure you put the smaller end back in. And gently, without pushing the tip, push the brush back in. So see, it's starting to come out a little. Now, I would not use this right away, but cap it and let the brush that you just put in back in absorb. Okay, so that's how you refill that. I don't know if any of you knew that before. It's a trick I learned, and I'm glad I did, because then you can use your Stampin' Up markers a lot longer. All right, now I'm going to add a little bit of bubble bath. And I'm trying to use it like a paintbrush, because if you don't, it might streak funny. Like, when you play with your kids' magic markers, and you're like, well, yeah, that's okay, but it's got streaks on it. So if you color in strokes like this with your paintbrush end, it's a lot less likely to happen. These markers are really good for smaller spaces, but not necessarily larger stamped images. All right. So this is two different ways to use the Stampin' Right markers with the same stamp set. Same. Say that 10 times fast. So here are our two images. And here are these two images. Same way. Okay? Now I'm going to push those aside. And we're going to do a third way. Now this third way, we're going to use our ink pads. Stick the markers away. And I'm going to use my water painter paintbrushes. For those of you that aren't familiar with these, you take these off and put water in them. You see the water in there? And now it acts like watercolor. So first we're going to do, again, we'll start with the butterfly, and that is in two different blues. You could do it in one different blue if you wanted, but I'm going to do two. And just get a little water out of your, squeeze it that says right here, push, and just add a little drop of water onto your tray. What I did first was, sorry about that, just squeeze in the middle a little bit, not a lot, and this happens in the inside cover. So you want just a little bit of water in there, and it acts like, see how it's watercolor now? And I'm just going to add a little bit of that blue. This is Blueberry Bushel. Okay, and then when you're done, just kind of scribble it on your scrap page, and it gets rid of the blue. And then I'm going to use the lighter Azure Afternoon. Again, just squirt a little water in there. And then make your watercolor. And then just brush stroke out. Now I know a lot of demonstrators that are really good at watercoloring. I don't claim that because I'm not an artist, I'm a crafter. But that's what the beauty of a lot of these Stampin' Up! Products are, because they make a crafter look artistic. And I'm not artistic. I'm a crafter. So I'm going to make this light. And then I'm going to just add a little bit of extra darker blue through the middle. And you can do this as much or as little as you want. You know, the more ink you add, the darker it'll get. But I'm just trying for that. There we go. How's that? Get rid of the blue. All right. And then for our floral, I'm going to use, just going to use the one color, the Granny Apple Green. I think I got rid of all the blue. Looks like it. Add a little drop of water. And I'm just going to paint these leaves. Pick up a little more. So this is really easy to do. Anybody could do it. The water painters are found in the catalog. I can't remember what page, so please forgive me for that. And if you find you need more ink, you can squeeze again, or you could take your re-inker and put a dot of ink in here. And I'm going to try really hard which is not easy to do. Go along these lines and add a little green. I don't think I'll do the super thin lines, but I'll do these thicker lines, because otherwise it comes out blobby because I'm not steady enough with my hand. Alright, there's the green, Granny Apple green. And then, now remember, these are all the same colors. The Melon Mambo. Give it a little squeeze. Move it around. Start painting. So, all different techniques. Same stamp set, different techniques. Alright, get rid of that Melon Mambo. You know, I'm just scribbling on my splat mat here. And then bubble bath. Give it a little squeeze. Yep, I might need a little more, so I'll close it and give it another squeeze. I got a little bit more. Add a drop of water. Move it around and just start painting. I kind of went over the line, so forgive me. But I suppose a lot of watercolorists do that, right? I'm just not an artist enough to do that. Just trying to add a little color. One more petal. You can just kind of scribble a little along the edge to soften the line between the two colors. Scribble it to get rid of the color. Close it up. So here is method number 3, which is watercolor. Okay. Stick that aside. Now the last one we're going to do is using the Stampin' blends. So I have my Azure Afternoon and my Blueberry, I have dark Afternoon, because these come in light and dark. So I didn't think I needed the Blueberry Bushel. So I'm just going to add some of this darker color to this butterfly. And then when I add the light, I can blend it. That's what's great about these alcohol-based markers. Is you can soften those lines. You don't get the crayon lines like you do with your kids' markers. Can you see it blend a little bit? Oops. I went out of the lines like a... Sorry about that. But see, you can see how they've blended. Now, one of the unique things about the Stampin' blends is they also have a color lifter. So if you wanted to lighten some spots, you could. Just lighten the middle a little if you want. You'll see this in a minute. See how it's lightening the middle where I colored on it? All right, now I will do the Stampin' Blend markers on the flowers. Again, I'm starting with the darker one first. You can start with the lighter one first if you want. Everybody has their own preference. I just happen to like the do dark first. All right. And then I'm going to use the marker end as opposed to the brush end so I can scribble a little and pull these two colors together so that I have some shading on these leaves. All right. And then I'm getting out my pinks. So I do have some of the I have the light Melon Mambo because the dark is really dark. So I'm just going to add a little bit in the very center of the flower. I know it looks like the edge, but it's really the view of the center. And then I'm using my darker bubble bath. I'm going to use the other end though. I like the scribble end better when I'm blending because I don't want to ruin my brush by scribbling. See, can you hear how hard I'm coloring? If I did that with the brush end, it would shred the bristles. And I really like to do this to blend the colors together. And then the light. I'm just going to kind of blend them all together with this light. I'm going to color in the tops. And then I'm going to blend them all together. So it's like a variegated look. Okay. So here's this look. This is the blends. Here is the watercolor. See if you can get them all in. We'll move these aside. Here is are the Stampin' Write markers that we colored in, and the Stampin' Write markers that we colored the stamp in. So there are 4 different methods with the same stamp set. Did you start with Memento Black or StazOn? I started with Memento. That's a very good question. I pre-stamped them because I wanted to make sure they were good and dry. And I'm glad I did because I was running behind. So now I'm going to make 4 the exact same card. I'm just going to quickly put these together. However, these 4 butterflies I want cut out. So what did I do? I pre-cut them. Alright, let's see. Now I got to figure out which is which. This one's easy. This one feels like watercolor, which is this one. This one feels like Stampin' Write. And this one feels like the blends. Alright, so I pre-cut those. I just fussy cut them with my snips. And I'm going to just toss these together. Put a sentiment on it. And you could, oops, I have a stray piece. You could use dimensionals to put this on. You could use whatever your adhesive of choice is. And I'm going to put this like so. And then I'm going to put dimensionals. So I don't know if you can tell, but I added a little I don't know why that's so dark. I added a little wink of Stella onto the butterflies. And I'm just going to use my mini dimensionals. I had to figure out which ones were mini. Flip it over. Just going to add 2. And fussy cutting is easy. You just sit down. I know some people don't like to fussy cut, but I do. Okay. And we're going to put a sentiment here, so just hold on. Next. So there are different ways to do everything. Flip the butterfly over. So this was the watercolor. Two. And then this was the one that we colored right on the stamp with our Stampin' Right marker. And I'm putting this all on Lost Lagoon. I probably should have used a different color cardstock, but I was originally going to use the Lost Lagoon for the stems. But that's okay. We'll pull it together anyway. Right? Right. Alright. Another butterfly. You could use your multi-purpose glue to do this if you wanted. I just happen to use the Stampin' Seal. Alright. Stuck to my finger. There we go. Butterfly. Okay, now I have 4 sentiment banners. However, I'm going to stamp these all the same. I could do it differently, but I think I will use, actually, I should use the Lost Lagoon, shouldn't I, to tie in the card base. I'll pull out my stamp set. And I can use thanks or dear friend, or both. I think I'll use thanks. It's a little more versatile than dear friend. Get out a block. Whoops, too small. We'll use this one. I'll stamp them up. Whoops, see, I caught an edge. So I need to be careful when I stamp that now, so that I don't rock it. Otherwise, you'll get that edge right on your banner. Not that it's very straight. It's because I'm doing it too fast. And I'm going to quickly clean it, because I'll end up with Lost Lagoon all over me. All right. And then, just because it has these textures in here, I'm going to add some texture behind this. I think I'm going to use this one, but I'm going to use a smaller block. And I'm going to use the bubble bath. And I'm just going to randomly stamp around this, just to give it a little extra texture. Just kind of adds to it. But you can do what you want. I mean, these are all just suggestions. You know? Just gives a little extra instead of the plain solid white, which can be kind of boring. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's boring. But just quickly randomly stamp. Doesn't have to be any particular way. They'll all look the same when they're done, or very similar, I should say. See? You can't tell the difference between 5 stamps and 10 stamps and angles and but I just thought it added a little extra to it. Alright. And I'm going to use dimensionals. On these. And I had, where did I put them? I had some bling here ready to use, and now I don't know where I put it. I don't know. So I have my bling all sorted. This is my new system. I got these little envelopes online, and it just slides in the top. Slides in and out the top. Alright, let's see. I think I had the pink. Alright. So first I'm going to put some dimensionals on the back of these. Because that's what I want. And these are mini, so I'm going to put 5 on. If I had my regular, I'd probably put 3 on, 3 right down the middle. Not missing anything. You're just watching me do dimensionals. All right. And I'm going to put this in the lower right. Take all the backings off, which is probably the hardest part, especially if you don't have nails. I mean, you could put ribbon on this if you wanted. Whatever bling you want. I'm using the trio of the, is that what it's called? No, Tinsel Gem 4-pack. It's not the trio, it's the 4-pack. I really like them. The colors are nice and vibrant. One more. All right, and then we'll get our gems out. I mean, this is the green. You could use the green too if you want, but I like it better with the pink. Oops. One. Oop. My fingers just aren't doing so hot tonight. 2. 3, 4. All right, there we go. 4 different ways to do the same card. Can you get them all the way across? Just about. I love this stamp set. I hope you guys do too. I hope you are encouraged to try this on your own, one of the 4 different ways, because there's so many different ways to make these pretty colors. I know it looks kind of dull, but if you look at it closer, they're not. They're really not. All right. Thank you very much for joining me. Next Sunday at 7 p.m., same time, I will be doing a product highlight, and I hope you will be able to join me again then. Until then, happy